Alright, so got another group v group match, this time between Ujay, Christmas for Central, and Matt Harris. Harris for Squirtle Squad. I mean, the two Facebook groups are in the description. I mean, make sure to join them, like the video, subscribe, and before anything, let me know who you think is going to win. Your predictions in the comments, and like at the end, see if your comments are right. Your prediction is right, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And so we've got Ujay brought Ninetales Alola, Lando, Volk, Suicune, Bisharp, and Dragapult, and Matt brought Nidoking, Clef, Celesteela, what was that, Mantine, and Tapu Koko, and Cinderace. And let's go ahead and start. So he led Lando, and Matt led Celesteela. I mean, easy rocks here. Goes for Leech Seed just to get like some residual damage off on the Lando or any potential switch in. He goes Volk here. Gets seeded, but I mean, Volk can't really sweep until the Mantine is gone. So Mantine comes in, catches the flamethrower. I think he's just trying to hopefully maybe get a burn off when he's clicking that. And then, I mean, Volk's forced out and Mantine comes in. I mean, he can't do anything to it. So, at this point, he kind of has to fear the freeze dry. But he can click Aurora Veil with the Ninetales. Yep, goes for Aurora Veil here. Celesteela comes out, and Celesteela honestly can just okay, it did Heavy Slam, which I mean doesn't do anything to Volk. But again, Volk can't really sweep, so this is probably a time for it to get a free roost off. And just like to regain some health. Yeah, my hat's crooked. But so it gets the roost off, Mantine's there, and he can basically, I mean, it's a free defog, but he defogs on the Bisharp. And I mean, Bisharp can honestly just click knockoff on it. And that's really not what he wants. So down goes Mantine, because now, I mean, it allows Volk to sweep more. Goes for T-Boat, and unfortunately gets the full pair. If he didn't get full paired, honestly, Bisharp probably would have killed Coco with an Iron Head. So he goes into Lando T, and I mean, just eats up the Thunderbolt. I think he's saving the Bisharp to sack later on. Goes Celesteela and free rocks again. Yep. And he can just switch back out into Volk. Because again, I mean, now that Mantine's gone, Volk really doesn't have much to worry about. I mean, being seeded definitely hurts. So he goes into a Cinderace, and Luca goes into Suicune here. And Suicune can pretty much just fire off some Scalds if he wants to. Yeah, Coco comes in. Okay, I should go for Substitute. Okay. And he can stay in and now fire off a Scald because, okay, goes for Protect to kind of scout. So that's actually good. So he goes for Dazzling Gleam. So I think, depending on the spread, the Dazzling Gleam might not, yeah, it didn't break the sub. So now free Scald, and he can get off another free Scald. And that crit really mattered. So he switches out, goes into Clef. Clef takes no damage, so you know it's Magic Guard, not Unaware. So he goes for a Combined here, and I think he's trying to set himself up to be able to break the sub. So he's Combined Clef, which is actually a kind of unfavorable situation. So he goes Ninetales Alola, and usually those things carry Encore, so it can basically force out the Clef. Yep, so he goes Encore. I mean, the Clef is now stuck Combinding. And I mean, since Ninetales is faster, it essentially can just keep clicking Encore for, I mean, a while and just stall out the Combine. So Celesteela comes out again, gets an Aurora Veil up here, and let's see. I mean, honestly, yeah, he goes Volk here. Gets seeded, but I mean, it's still, I mean, Volk can get up a CC here. I'm not a CC, a Quiver Dance here. Okay, never mind. Goes for Roost. I'm assuming he's probably going to switch out, so he doesn't have to keep worrying about like all this residual damage. Yep, and goes Suicune here. Cinderace comes in. Powerball does like nothing behind the veil and the natural bulk of Suicune. And I mean, it's a free Scald at this point. Goes Celesteela here, and I mean, like I said, free Scald. That only does like 16%, so I mean that's not a lot of damage at all. And he switches back into Clef here. Goes for a sub, and I mean it's kind of the same pattern as before. I mean, well, same situation as before, and he immediately goes into Ninetales just to kind of lock him into Calm Mind, and I mean perfect timing. So he goes into Cinderace here. Goes for Encore. So, I mean, he wisely switched out. And, I mean, Cinderace, I mean, can't really do anything. Okay, he sacks the Bisharp. Because it could have, I think it might have been able to kill despite the Orville. Depending on, oh no, it's Have Duty Boots. Since it didn't take any rocks damage. So he sacks the Bisharp, gets a free switch in, goes into Dragapult. Sucker Punch does a 89%. So he goes for Shadow Ball, which doesn't kill, which is weird. I'm guessing this might be a mix to Dragapult, maybe? Oh, never mind, it was dark. It was dark, my bad. It was a dark type, so that's why I only did that much damage. So he goes Lando, goes Celesteela, and I mean, it's a free U-turn at this point, if he wants to. But instead, he goes for Explosion, just to really break that thing down a lot. So that was actually a pretty smart play on his part to do that. Because now I think, yeah, Volt can kind of more so, and he forced the switch there. He gets up Quiver Dance, and we know the Clef is not unaware, so I mean he's really going to have a hard time dealing with it. So he gets a Calm Mind off, and let's see, yeah, 40%. I mean, I think that was probably like the highest possible roll. Coco comes out, and I believe he might have to Quiver again. Okay, missed the Toxic. Yeah, he goes for Flamethrower. Missing the Toxic didn't really matter too much, only because he's still faster than most of his team, except for maybe Ace. I'm not sure what the exact calcs would be, but I mean, it'll be... He might have been able to get the Volk in range of... Never mind, he outsped. I was going to say, maybe get the Volk in range of Sucker Punch, but I mean, it didn't happen. So Celesteela comes out, and I mean, that's GG there. So game 1 goes to Ujay. So I mean, 1 point for Central and 0 points for Squad. And here's game 2. And I mean, Ujay brought Weavile, Skarm, Chomp, Slowking, Nidoking, and Coco. And Matt brought out Zapdos G, Slowking G, Swamp, Corv, Magearna, and Wheezing Galar. So music off, speed slow. So he goes in Zapdos Galar there. Goes Garchomp. I mean, easy switch in. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he had no... I mean, easy switch in as opposite of Zapdos Galar because he couldn't do anything. I don't know why he went for a U-turn, because that's some damage he doesn't really want to take. I mean, going into the Swampert might have been better, just because it would be easier for him to get rocks up. But he goes Corv, I mean, and Garchomp's just going to keep getting rocks up and letting them take the residual damage from Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin. So Weezing comes out. And I mean, Weezing, yeah, it's immune to the Earthquake. He kind of had to like bait it and just kind of like see if he had it or not. So, I mean, Garchomp's pretty much forced out. He doesn't want to catch like a Dazzling Gleam or anything. Okay, Flamethrower. So maybe he expected him to go into the Skarmory, but Slowking's in. He has boots on. That's why he didn't get poison damage, and he got burned. So Slowking comes out. I mean, free Future Sight against the opposing Slowking G, and I mean, that one's probably going to go for Future Sight. Yep. Teleports out, and I mean, free switch in for Weavile. Because I mean, Weavile's Dark type can absorb the Future Sight, and plus can just like offensively pressure out the Slowking G. So he goes Weavile there. which, I mean, Wheezing there, which takes the opposing Future Sight, which, yeah, not too good. He could have went Corv, maybe. I mean, just if he really wanted to preserve the Wheezing. Goes in Swampert here. Goes Scarm. I mean, Scarm takes the Future Sight pretty well. I mean, Future Sight's hitting like 120 base power. So he gets Spikes up here. I mean, he really doesn't have any incentive to defog because he has Nido in the back. So Slowking comes in, takes the hazard damage. And let's see. Goes into his opposing Slowking, Future Sight. Then he's going to click Future Sight. That's what, like, Future Sight's probably one of the best moves in the game right now. And then he teleports out. Okay. So he goes into his Weavile, which, I mean, it can take the Future Sight as well as being able to just spam off some moves. So he can spam knockoff. Even though Magearna resists it, I mean, it's still good to have the leftovers gone. I mean, getting rid of the leftovers on anything is always a good thing. And goes in Nidoking here, which can pretty much take most attacks except for Ice Beam. So he's kind of lucky that he didn't go for that, but there was really no reason for him to go Ice Beam with Magearna. So Nidoking's against the Swampert, and it does a solid 47%, which will basically, I mean, it's going to be a 2-hit KO if he stayed in. Goes into Corv there, but, I mean, switches out. Earth Power misses, but Nidoking, I believe Ice Beam should kill from this range, or Flamethrower. Yeah, Flamethrower kills Corv. Goes in Slowking Galar, and, I mean, he can pretty much just click Earth Power here on it. Didn't get the kill, but I mean, Nidoking can't immediately kill the, I mean, Slowking can't immediately kill the Nido. So, misses the Earth Power on this, but I mean, he can go back into his Garchomp here just to get that residual damage off on it. Yeah, so he takes Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet, plus the recoil. So he's at 1% now. And he can't touch the Garchomp. Well, I mean, it's a fair trade, I guess. His Chomp's dead and Zapdos is gone, so I mean, more of a fair trade on Ujay's side. And Swampert comes out, Nidoking comes out, and Nido can pretty much just win at this point because nothing on Matt's team resists any of his hits. It's a free Earth Power right here that kills Magearna, and then Slowking G comes in and it pretty much just dies to the Earth Power. So that's GG, 2-0 in favor of Ujay. So 2 points for Central, 0 points for Squirtle Squad. And yeah, I mean, good game. Let me know in the comments if your predictions were right, what you thought of the battle, and just stay tuned for, I mean, more coming.